I was about to say, you're going to skip right over me, aren't you? Oh, I felt so bad.
But it's kind of secluded them. I mean, I don't know what the take a look at it. 90 years, one day when they obviously open it, but something maybe each pen. Yep.
Please rise. And dear God, today as this session opens, we pray that your presence will be before us and everyone who serves in the decision-making process of our city. We pray for direction which will lead our city to be strong and unified. May we continue the legacy of our founders. May we be granted this day the wisdom to make decisions which will be for the good of our city. We also pray for your special blessing on all those who are working to transform our city and make it a better place to live and work. Amen. Please remain standing for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would the clerk please call the roll?
Counsel Milanazzo.
Here.
Counsel Rourke.
Here.
Counsel Samaras.
Here.
Counsel Belanger.
Here.
Counsel Elliott.
Here.
Mayor Kennedy.
Here.
Counsel Leahy.
Here.
Counsel Leary.
Here.
Counsel Mercier.
Here,
9 present.
Council Mercia.
I'd like to offer a moment of silence in darkened chamber for David J. Fenton Sr. Esquire, beloved husband of Mary, who survives him. As a youth, his home away from home was on the practice fields of Tufts University, and he graduated from Tufts in 1953 with a BA in history. While at Tufts, he met his future wife, Mary, and he was also a three-sport team captain. He graduated from Boston College School of Law in 1956 with a Juris Doctorate degree. David proudly served his country in the United States Marine Corps as a first lieutenant. Over the course of his professional career, he was president of City Solicitors and Town Councilors Association, president of the Lowell Bar Association, executive board member of the Middlesex County Bar Association, member of the Massachusetts Bar, and was admitted to practice before the United States Supreme Court. He began his private practice as an attorney in Lowell in 1958, and he served in the Lowell Law Department as assistant city solicitor for over 40 years. Throughout his career, he was instrumental in the collective bargaining agreements with the fire and police, creation of Lowell as a national historical park, the development of baseball facilities for the Lowell Spinners, and involved in the approvals and development of the Songus Arena. David was a dedicated husband, father, grandfather, and friend. In addition to his wife, Mary, David is survived by two daughters, Betsy and Julie, a son, Peter, a daughter-in-law, Cheryl Fenton. He was also the father of his late son, David J. Fenton Jr., who died in 2014. David was a jewel in the city, an excellent city solicitor, someone that made the city very proud. He was a gentleman. He was everybody's friend. We offer our sympathy to his family, relatives, and many friends. He will be truly missed. And I'd also like to offer a moment of silence in Darkened Chamber for the 26 people killed in that senseless act of violence in Sutherland Springs, Texas, and pray for the speedy recovery for those 16 wounded individuals. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Leahy.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to offer a moment of silence for Marlene P. Johnson. Marlene Walsh Johnson, 83 of West Palm Beach, formerly of Lowell, passed away Tuesday. She was the widow of the late Charles S. Johnston, who passed away in 2016 after sharing 60 years of marriage. Born in Lowell, Mass. On May 13, 1934, she was the daughter of the late James E. Walsh and the late Alice F. Countermarsh Walsh. Marlene graduated from Danvers State Hospital School of Nursing, and she became a nurse anesthetist in the early 70s. Later, she received her master's degree in education, worked as a guidance counselor for many years in the Lowell Public Schools, where she loved to help the students. Marlene will be missed by her two beloved children, Charles Johnson Jr. and their daughter, Alicia Johnston. I'd also like to offer a moment of silence for Thomas Quirk of Braintree. Tom was originally from Lowell, from a big family. He passed away on Friday, surrounded by his family that he cherished after a courageous battle with cancer. He was 59 years old. He was the beloved husband of the love of his life, Lisa Quirk of Braintree, devoted father of 3 children, Thomas Quirk Jr., Scott, his son Scott, and, sorry, lost my place. Scott, lost my place, sorry. Tom was born and raised in Lowell. He had proud roots in Lowell. He was raised in a large family with rich tradition. The majority of his life was spent working at Quirk Auto Sales in Quincy. That was the passion of his life. He loved his work, and that was the most important to him, his work and his family. He will be sadly missed by his friends and family. Thank you.
Next, we have the minutes of the Economic Development Subcommittee of October 24th and City Council meeting of October 24th for acceptance. We have a motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Samaras, seconded by Councilor Milonazo. Discussion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. Next, we have communications from the city manager. Councilor Milonazo.
Mr. Mayor, if there's no objections from my colleagues, I would like to move that we table the motion responses A through J until next meeting, November 14th, and take them up as unfinished business next week.
Okay. We have a motion made and seconded to table the responses from the city manager until next week. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, all opposed, so voted. Mr. Manager.
Yes, there was one communication I'd like to give tonight is that, as you know, the Economic Development Director position opened up, and we had a nice search, and we had an interview committee, and we've selected a fine individual to serve as our Economic Development Director. He formerly worked for the city of Salem as an economic development planner, and we've stolen him from Salem, and he's coming here to Lowell, and I'd like him just to come up and introduce himself. Andrew Shapiro.
Hello, thank you, Mr. Manager, members of the City Council, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate the opportunity to come here to work to Lowell. I have some experience for the past 4.5 years working for the City of Salem, and I'm really excited to be working on all the great projects going on here in Lowell. There's a great team in DPD and all around the city I can see so far with some really, really interesting projects. So very excited to get to work and to meet and work with each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Next, we have a communication, communication to appoint Caitlin Nover to the Conservation Commission. Do we have a motion to approve? Motion approved by Councilor Mercia, seconded by Councilor Leary. Discussion, roll call.
We don't need a roll call on Eddie.
Oh, I'm sorry, we don't need a roll call. All in favor, all opposed? So voted. Next, communication to reappoint Michael Kelly as the Animal Advisor, to the Animal Advisory Committee.
I think, was that woman here?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Nover. I would like to thank you all for this opportunity. I'm really happy to be here and to be able to give back to the community.
Thank you.
Nice to have you.
We have a communication to reappoint Michael Kiley to the Animal Advisory Committee. Do we have a motion to approve? By Council Milonazo, seconded by Council Rourke. Council Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What is the status of that committee from, I don't know, a while ago, and what members were appointed and who are still on it? Are there staggered terms? I mean, I don't oppose this at all whatsoever, because he was on the committee before, but I know myself was, and Councilor Milonazo was as well.
What we did is we're resurrecting the animal. It sort of became defunct, and this is a good appointment because, believe it or not, the ordinance calls for one of the members to have to be a member of the MSPCA, and Mr. Keeley is a member of the MSPCA.
Right.
We also got an email from 2 people at the Lowell Humane Society who want to be on, so I'll be bringing that in hopefully next week. And we've reached out to the superintendent of police, and he's going to have 2 people recommended from the police department for the board. And I know that Heather was reaching out to the mayor's office to see if a city council would be interested in being on the board. So we're resurrecting that board, and we'll be bringing those reappointments and appointments in the very near future.
Okay. Are there 2 councilors? Because you and I were both on it.
Right.
Are there 2?
There may have, I know that I was on the committee. I know Councilor Elliott attended, if not all, most of the
Okay.
committee meetings.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We'll put both on. Do you want both?
Well, I don't know, I think there is
Yeah.
some stipulations, but I certainly would like to
Okay,
express
we'll
interest.
follow up on it then.
Thank you.
Council Blanchard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilor Elliott did address most of my concerns, but through you to the manager. Mr. Manager, we received an email, I don't know if you talked about this, about 2 persons from the Humane Society.
Yes, and we're going to be bringing in those appointments, maybe next week or the week after.
Okay, wonderful, thank you.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
Counsel Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Leary.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Next, we have a communication from the city manager requesting out-of-state travel for 2 members of the Lowell Police Department and one person from the library. Do we have a motion to approve by Counsel Rourke, seconded by Counsel Samaras? Discussion on the motion, roll call.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
Counsel Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Leary.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Next, we need a vote approving the exemption of Maureen McCabe from the provisions of Mass General Laws, Chapter 268A, Section 20. If there's no objection, we'll waive the full first reading and go to the second reading, approving the exemption of Maureen McCabe from the provisions of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 268A, Section 20. Do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
Motion approved by Counsel Elliott, seconded by Counsel Rourke. Discussion on the motion, roll call.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
Counsel Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Leary.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Next, we have a vote authorizing the city manager to accept a gift of 4 works of art from the recently closed American Textile History Museum for use by the Pollard Memorial Library. If there's no objection, we'll waive the full first reading and go to the second reading, authorizing the city manager on behalf of the city of Lowell to accept a gift of 4 works of art from the recently closed American Textile History Museum for use by the city of Lowell Pollard Memorial Library. Do we have a motion to approve? Motion approved by Counsel Leary, seconded by Counsel Rourke. Discussion on the motion, roll call.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
Counsel Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Leary.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
That's 9 yeas.
Next, we have a vote authorizing the city manager to execute a license agreement with 495 Chrysler Jeep Dodge Incorporated. If there's no objection, we'll waive the full first reading and go to the second reading, authorizing the city manager to enter into a license agreement with 495 Chrysler Jeep Dodge Incorporated to use a portion of the premises located at 758 Rogers Street, commonly known as the parking lot at Martin Alumni Athletic Complex on Rogers Street in the city of Lowell for vehicle storage. We have a motion approved by Counsel Samaras, second by Counsel Rourke. Discussion on the motion.
Yep.
Counsel Leahy.
Through you to the manager, just a quick question. Can we, this is a good agreement and we helps us out, but just make sure we keep an eye on it because if it goes a little over 100, that's fine, but sometimes I notice that they take full advantage of it and they could have 140 cars in there. We should just make sure that it's clear on both sides. If you're constantly over 100 cars, then just add up the extra spaces. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
Counsel Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Leary.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Next, we have an order for 60 days at various locations. If there's no objection, we'll waive the full first reading, go to the second reading pursuant to Chapter 266 of the Code of Ordinances in the City of Lowell, Massachusetts concerning Section 266-6 thereof entitled Temporary Experimental Regulations, Temporary Traffic Regulations are hereby implemented for a period of 60 days. Do we have a motion to approve? Motion approved by Counsel Rourke, second by Counsel Samaras. Discussion on the motion. All in favor? Roll call.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
Counsel Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Leary.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Next, we have a report from the wire inspector for Access Engineering Group to request the installation of an underground communication conduit at 40 Andrews Street. The chair would entertain a motion to accept and adopt the accompanying order. Do we have a motion to that effect? By Counsel Milonazo, second by Counsel Rourke. Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? So voted. Next, under petitions, we have one property claim. Chair would entertain a motion to refer to the Law Department for report and recommendation. We have a motion by Counsel Rourke to do that, second by Counsel Mercia. Discussion on the motion. All in favor? All opposed? So voted. Next, we have a request for the installation of telecommunication wires and appurtenances on the pole located at Bridge Street and French Street. The motion would be to refer this to a public hearing for November 21st, 2017 at 7 p.m. We have a motion to that effect by Counsel Rourke, second by Counsel Samaras. Discussion on the motion. All in favor, all opposed, so voted. Next, on the City Council motions. The first motion is by Counsel Milonazo. request the city manager provide and ensure the necessary support services for all first responders, including the police, fire, and EMT personnel that were part of the tragic event involving the pit bulls on Clare Street.
Second.
Seconded by Council Rourke. Council Milonazo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm sure based upon the track record of this administration that these services are being provided, but again, coming on as a first responder to that, what I would consider to be a horrific scene, that I just want to, and I'm sure that my colleagues want to make sure that all of the first responders are provided with the services that they need. So that was the intent of the motion. Thank you.
Council Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a very important and interesting motion, one that had me thinking at the time, in conjunction with Councilor Milonazo, that it bothered me to know if our first responders were allowed an opportunity to be having their problems addressed, because we take this for granted. They see horrific things. So I called the police department and I spoke to a deputy, and he informed me that Lowell General Hospital ran a program dealing with the issue of the pit bulls and the young 7-year-old child. This program was sponsored by Lowell General Hospital and was open to all first responders. On further investigation, Trinity Ambulance has their own internal support system, but they were also offered the Lowell General Hospital program, which is the Merrimack Valley Critical Stress Management Team program, and it helps first responders who deal with traumatic incidents such as SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome, police, fire, first responders who were killed in the line of duty. Lowell General Hospital is usually the first place to go when there is a need for crisis intervention with respect to any type of traumatic stress experienced by our police, fire, or EMTs. The city side has Tom Greenalge, very instrumental in calling that number. He will tell you all the things that are going on. There are certain phone numbers that activate the team, thus a pager in the event that a crisis occurs. So we have ample amount of coverage in this event of a crisis. The firefighters also have Chaplain Father Paul Clifford and Chaplain Mary Jane Sullivan. She's the Tewksbury Chaplain from the Mass Fire Chaplain Association. Lowell General Hospital has CISD, which is Critical Incident Stress Debriefing, and they keep an eye on the persons. They are on site, and there's also an on-site academy in Gardner, Mass. For follow-up sessions, and at Lowell General Hospital is Dr. Jonathan Drake. And these are all members of this team that help our first responders that experience such a horrific event that I wouldn't be able to handle, but they do.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Councilor. Mr. Manager, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, Deputy Kelly Richardson is here to answer any questions, but we did, especially the first police officer on the scene we really needed some care, but we did take care of them, and the police department did a wonderful job.
Yes, they did.
Councilor Elliott.
Thank you. This is a good motion, and I agree with, and you reported to us right at the day that these officers had sought help. And I've also gotten calls from the grandmother and the little boy. The brother has gone back to school, and the school is prepared or has been prepared for counseling for them and the family as well. So the city is also very much stepping up on with the family to provide them the counseling and support as well.
Thank you, Councilor. Any further discussion? Not all in favor of the motion, all opposed, so voted. The next motion is by Councilor Leahy. Councilor Leahy requests the city manager of the parking department work with the appropriate subcommittee regarding the residential parking sticker program. Seconded by Councilor Leary. Councilor Leahy.
Thank you. This motion just came from a few calls from people in Back Central neighborhood, and they were hoping that we could get a discussion started on a sticker program to see if it would work or not work. But if we could, maybe it goes to the neighborhood subcommittee, I'm not sure, but just to get the conversation started. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor of the motion, all opposed, so voted. The next motion is by Councilor Leary, requests the city manager report on the status of low-riding cars in the city. To report to include the actual Massachusetts statute regarding low-riding cars and the enforcement required. Seconded by Counsel Late. Counsel Leary.
This is another motion that came from a couple constituents in back central neighborhood with their concerns of low-riding cars. So if we can just get the statutes as their request and what we're doing to enforce them. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, all opposed, so voted. That concludes the regular agenda. Are there any announcements? Counsel Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have an announcement, but if it's possible and I could suspend the rules and ask the city manager a question about New Hampshire Power, how we received a letter in the mail and it says, well, do you have to get a second or what do you want?
So Counsel Mercia is asking that, that we suspend the rules in order to take up New Hampshire Power.
Right.
If there's no objection, we'll do that by general consent.
Thank you.
Hearing no objection, Counsel Mercia.
Okay, thank you. We had Hampshire Power, and it was the electricity supplier chosen by the city of Lowell to serve the program, but there's going to be change in the electricity supplier as of December 2017. So if you know anything about that and what the public should do, I think there are people that had called me and they're listening to this. Thank you.
So I sent out an email to the council. I know you've been busy on other matters, but you'll see that this electricity, our supplier under the energy aggregation plan, has been switched from Hampshire Power to this Connecticut cooperative. There's no change in the program at all. It stays the same. It's just a different name of the supplier. However, I think it could have been rolled out better. So what we've done is we're going to be doing a public education. We're going to be giving a report to the city council. I emailed a list of frequently asked questions about the energy aggregation. It's in your email and it's on our website. We're going to appear on WCAP and LTC with an explanation of what the program is, just to show everybody that there's no changes whatsoever. The aggregation program will stay right the way it is. They can opt out if they want. We'll explain that to them, but still, there'll be no changes whatsoever.
So to do nothing is the best thing?
Yes, do
Okay,
nothing.
thank you.
Okay.
Counsel Samaras.
Just a question to the city manager. Could we also include the neighborhood groups? Perhaps have sent someone from your office to make a presentation to the various groups on what the program is all about, because they're also very good at getting the information out to other people. Thank you.
Any further discussion? So I don't think we need a motion on that, right? Are there any other announcements? Counsel Rourke.
Thank you, McKinney. Just working on appreciation. 2 Sundays ago, the Lowell Junior High football program, which I am a coach of, had their final game of the season at the South Common. I know a lot of work was put involved by the city. It was almost like a kickoff to all the, excuse the pun, of all the things that have been happening over at the South Common, the redesign and the track and so forth. Mr. Manager, you came down there early in the morning to make sure that things were happening. The Lowell Police Department, the Lowell Fire Department, DPW crew was there as well on a Sunday. And also the line striping crew from the police department were also there. They all worked very hard. We had 120 kids took part in the game. And it was covered by the local newspaper. So just an appreciation, from the league to the manager and his staff. And it was a terrific event, and hopefully it's the start of the usage of the South Common going forward for a number of years for different types of athletic events or festivals or outings and so forth. So thank you very much, Mr. Manager.
Thank you. Anything, Counsel Blanchard?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to further Councilor Rourke's comments. I know his youth that he coaches have enjoyed these improvements immensely, and I can basically attest to that. There's far more activity in that park. I do live local. I come off the train a couple days a week, and there's often youth on the basketball courts and on the field, and more family-oriented. It's helped that park immensely with giving it police access and improved lighting. So it's very, very good to see, and I applaud everyone involved there, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Counsel. Any further discussion? If not, Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn. We have a motion to adjourn by Counsel Rourke, seconded by Counsel Samaras. All in favor, all opposed? Stand adjourned. How's that? Thanks. Thank you. I'll let him know, you said.
luck, John.